On the island of Sodor, there are lots of signals. They help the engines to stay safe as they go about their work. The engines and their crew always wait patiently until the line ahead of them is clear. Mavis was working in the Farquhar Quarry Company, pushing and pulling trucks into their right places, and take stone trucks down to Farquhar. She loves this, but sometimes she has no one around to talk to but trucks. One day, Mavis's driver was suddenly taken ill. He was as white as a sheet, so he was sent home to get better. The quarry manager came to see Mavis. "You must take some stone trucks to Knapford harbour tomorrow," he said. "After that, you will collect the workmen from Knapford station and bring them here to work. And you will be working with a temporary driver until your own driver returns." "Yes, sir," said Mavis cheerfully. She was very pleased. "At last! My journey to the big station," she thought. The next morning, Mavis's temporary driver had arrived to start work. "Come on, Mavis," he muttered. "Let's get started." So Mavis collected the stone trucks and set off on her journey to the big station. When Mavis came to Knapford Junction, it was very busy. "Oh my!" she cried. "I forgot how busy the junctions were." After she delivered the stone to the harbour, Mavis went to the station to pick up the workmen. There were some engines waiting for their departure. Mavis looked at her signal on the gantry. It was red, and she waited patiently for it to change green. But then, Mavis felt herself moving. But she was near the point. "Watch out, Mavis!" whistled Henry. "That was my signal." "Sorry," called Mavis. Luckily, the guard had pulled the brake handle just in time. Mavis spoke to her driver crossly. "What do you think you're doing?" she scolded. "We will take forever, Mavis," the driver huffed. "But we got a train of workmen on board," said Mavis. "You could have hurt them." But the temporary driver wasn't a very patient man. He didn't like waiting. He wanted to get his work done quickly, so he could get home at the end of the day. After they got permission from the signalman, Mavis reversed her train back to the station. She arrived at the quarry late. The quarry manager was very cross with the driver. "You are going to learn about signal gantry at the big station, driver," he said. "I am arranging an inspector to train you. You will meet him at Elsbridge Station. Mavis, lady will do your work here." And he walked back to his office. "Why do I need to know about signals?" muttered the driver. "I know plenty about them." "Because you nearly caused a nasty accident this morning and made the workmen late," replied Mavis crossly. But the driver didn't listen and carried on working. Early the next morning, Mavis pulled into Elsbridge Station. The inspector was waiting on the platform. He climbed aboard Mavis's cab and they set off. At Knapford Junction, it was busy again. Mavis was waiting for her signal. She waited, but the driver was getting more and more annoyed. Just be patient, said the inspector. I'm not waiting any more, scoffed the driver. Now come on, Mavis. We've wasted enough time. And he pulled the throttle. Mavis felt herself moving. Not again, she cried. Stop, shouted the inspector. The points are not set. But it was too late. Mavis had come off the rails. She wasn't hurt, but the junction was blocked. Soon the emergency services and the breakdown gang arrived. The fat controller came along to see if Mavis's driver and the inspector were hurt. They weren't hurt, but the inspector was very cross with the driver. You are too impatient, he remarked. Signals are there to keep my engines and crew safe, added the fat controller. Your impatience has caused confusion and delay. Mavis is blocking the path of the line, so some of my engines can't get in or out of the station. Then the quarry manager arrived aboard Percy. He too wasn't very pleased at all. You're unwilling to learn about signals, he said sternly. So you'll be doing quarry work until you learn to be patient. Soon Mavis was lifted back onto the rails. The fat controller spoke to her. You did very well today, Mavis, he said, but you still have a lot to learn about signals. Thank you, sir, sighed Mavis. The next morning, Mavis's old driver was better and came back to work. Mavis was very happy to see him again. She also told him about her impatient temporary driver. Her driver chuckled. That's because he is a lorry driver, he said, and explained about it. No wonder he hadn't got experience about signals, she smiled, and went cheerfully back to work. Whenever Mavis was told to take more stone to Knapford harbour, she is still learning about signals and to be careful at the junction when it is very busy and staying safe on the railway.